disputed at 154 pounds. Jermell Charlo's the champion over there. What do you make of a potential matchup with Jermell? And hypothetically speaking, because Jermell has a tough fight with Canelo, and we don't know what's going to happen if he's going to choose to stay at 54, if he ends up beating Canelo at 68. There's a lot of intangibles there. But if
he doesn't beat Canelo.
He doesn't beat Canelo.
He doesn't beat Canelo.
No, quicker guy coming up.
Doesn't beat Canelo. Coming up, the other guy was a 140-pounder to begin with. He was
Jermell?
a 47-pound champion. People forget this guy was was it Canelo 147-pound champion?
No, his first title at 54.
Okay, but he fought at 47 at the beginning.
He did, yes.
Okay, so he's a guy that was going up 47. The same. No, he may have moved up in weight, but he still started his career. Most of his fights were at 47, 54.
But he was a kid though, Abel. He was like 16 years old.
He was still a fighter. He's still a fighter developing, and I think that Canelo's just. I think at that level, Canelo's a more rounded fighter at that level. I don't like what Charlo looked like against the Argentinian. What was his name? The first fight?
Castaño.
I didn't like what the pressure that Castaño put on him, and Castaño. Canelo's going to be a different fight, man. He's earned where he's at.
Yeah, I'm going to touch in further with this Canelo and Charlo fight. But if Charlo were to face Crawford today, right now, in 5 months, how would that go down?
I would like to see Spence and Crawford first at 154, so I can see how Terrence does at 154, because he is moving up from 140. But listen, there's very few guys that are going to hang with him. Very few guys that are going to hang with Terrence Crawford from the fight that we saw a couple Saturdays ago. Special talent. All
right, let's get your breakdown now, Abel. Let's get a little spicy. Canelo versus Charlo. What happens?
I think Canelo decision.
Decision. Wow, a lot of people said knockout.
No, I think Canelo decision, because Charlo is a good fighter. Charlo to me is the kind of fighter that will step up to the competition. In other words, he may not thought about what I said a little while ago about the Argentinian. He may not thought a lot about that Argentinian, so he did step up to the competition. But I think he will step up. He'll give Canelo a hard time early. But I think Canelo finally catches up with him and maybe puts him down one time. But I think he wins maybe a 16-12 decision, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Do you feel that way because of Canelo's last fight and how he looked against Ryder?
No. I just think that Charlo is a good champion. Maybe not as busy enough for me, but I think he's demonstrated that he's a good champion.
Yeah, because many have mentioned that performance and say like, hey, look, it's clear. This is their opinion. It's clear that Canelo's slipping now. He's on the decline.
Listen, we were just talking about Charlo in the Argentinian. Charlo didn't think much of the Argentinian. Maybe he mentally didn't prepare as well as he should have prepared. Maybe it could be the same thing for Canelo against Ryder. Ryder was somebody who was supposed to blow out with one punch. Everybody was saying. So maybe that gets in their mind, and that doesn't happen, and he doesn't look as good as he's looked. But he knows that, I'm sure in his mind and in Eddie's mind, Charlo is a challenge.
Yeah, and the other thing too, it's like he knocked down Ryder like 2 times, like he didn't lose a round, like he beat him up pretty bad in the fight. So like
we're punishing him for looking bad.
Exactly. Well, I think it's because people expected him, like you said, to knock one punch knockout, and like the dude's durable, like he could take a beating.
Yeah. The one thing about Canelo, he's not a devastating puncher, but he's a concussive puncher. He just hits you and hits you and hits you. He's very busy. He lands his punches. He's not going to knock you out with one shot like a Nui, but he's going to beat the heck out of you, man. He's going to beat you up, and sometimes it's better get knocked out than to get beat up like that, So I think that he beats on Charlo, and eventually just, I'm not going to say Charlo quits, but maybe quits in his mind, like quits trying to win and just survive. But I think he gives him a tough fight.
Yeah, Charlo's clearly the quicker guy, the faster hands, just based on training footage. But I think stylistically he has to avoid a up close fight with Canelo.
True. So that if the fight goes on and Canelo's beating on him, it doesn't matter where he's sitting him. If he's beating on him, he'll slow down. And like I said, the first part of the fight will be difficult because he is going to be the quicker guy. But as time goes on, now it also too depends on what weight he comes into the fight too.
Yeah, Derek told me he wants him to come in like at 64.
Okay, Derek is his coach.
Because
Derek knows
he
him
wants him to
best.
be quick and agile against Canelo.
Yeah,
That's
well,
why.
if he fight at 54, how can 10 pounds more make you quick and agile?
Mm.
Okay, Canelo fight at 60. That means at 68 he's not going to be quick and agile.
Mm.
You know, if that's what Derek thinks is the best weight for his fighter, then that's what it should be. Hopefully, it won't weigh him down too much, because if he weighs 64 for the fight, or for the weigh-in, let's just say, how much is he
64,
weighing fight?
65.
How much is he weighing fight?
I would imagine pretty close to that, right?
Not necessarily. If he's not going to come into camp at 64.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Obviously, he's probably coming in what, like 10 pounds, 12 pounds heavier?
He's probably, usually they're 20, 25 pounds above the weight, which is not, it depends on how he loses it, but he gets down to 64 by fight night. He's 72, 73. Is that going to be too heavy for him? Whereas if he fought at 54, I don't think he'd gain more than 10, 12 pounds by fight night.
Interesting. Yeah. The other interesting thing too is Canelo's used to taking a punch from guys at 68 and above, and he's, handled that power pretty well. This is the first time Jermell is going to be taking power from a guy bigger than him on that aspect. And then on the other aspect, like Canelo's used to these bigger guys punching him. Like how is the power of Jermell going to translate into this weight class?
Well, sometimes, as you mentioned, sometimes the quickness and the fast hands are just as effective as the power, the slower power. If he's able to catch him early with some decent shots and the quick shots, 1-2s and even 3s, with the speed, there's no doubt in my mind that he could hurt him, because speed kills sometimes. But if the fight goes on and Canelo's defense is on point and he doesn't get caught with shots early, it may be a different fight towards the end.
Abel, you're still in retirement, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I went over to the summit. I saw the Jaime there. He's the new owner of the gym. How did that all come about?
I was ready because of COVID and because of a lot of other
and I was kind of bummed out, by the way, too.
Yeah, a lot of situations in my relationship with my fighters, with some of my fighters and some of their management. It just was at the point where I was tired of playing the politics, man. I was tired of playing the game. I'm 68 years old. I think I thought it was time for me to spend a little more time with my children and my grandchildren. And if I didn't sell the gym, then I'm still a coach. I'm still going to go to camp. I'm still, you'd call me up tomorrow and say, hey, listen, I got this kid that, I think he's going to be there. And we go to the gym and we start working. And now it's another process of 3 or 4 years of getting to that point. So I felt that if I didn't sell it, I was never going to be out of it. Now, don't get me wrong. If the right situation came along where I could go to camp with somebody as an assistant or an advisor of some sort and help with my whatever it is that I do well, then I wouldn't mind helping somebody. The person had to be the right person, of course. But as far as me having a training camp, that's finished.
That's finished, done, completely fini.
Yep. Yes.
Wow. They still have one of your golden rules up there.
What's that? Which one? No girls?
Yes.
No girls?
No womans, even though they spelled it wrong. But they put no womans in there.
Yeah. You know what? I've always thought it was a distraction. There's some ladies, of course, some fighters that are fighters. They're women, but they're fighters. But some of the ladies that used to come in there with the boyfriends, let's just say, and they come in dressed in a way that other fighters are going to look at them, and I didn't want a problem in there. I didn't want you bring your lady in and one of the fighters looks at her and makes a rude comment, because they have been in camp for 8 weeks and now we got an issue, and why create the issue? That's really why I did it. I just didn't want the distraction or the chance of somebody saying something stupid.
Do you miss it?
I miss it terribly, man. Of course. But I don't miss the training camp aspect of it. I miss the fighters. I miss being in the gym with the fighters. I miss coaching. I miss being in the corner in the fights, even though I still work some corners with Ben. Ben Lira. I work all with him. I assist him in the corner. But I miss just the camaraderie of being around the fighters and watching them smile and watching them grow. I think that's something that can never go away. They're like your children.
Yeah, no, that's true. It takes a while for it to get out of your system, and I don't think it ever really does completely get out of your system.
It never does. That's why I knew that if I didn't sell the gym, that I could never be out of it. So this way, I kind of have like a buffer. I don't have the ability to just shoot on up the big bear and boom, I got a training camp. You know, but the on the plus side, I'm spending more time with my wife and with my children and with my grandchildren, and I have 3 of them that are in the toddler stage and below. So that's been a lot of fun being able to watch them grow.
Oh, I bet, because this job in general, I think for everyone, but especially the fighters and the trainers, requires a huge sacrifice that ends up taking a lot of times away from spending with your family and friends.
Yeah, I think people don't realize, a lot of people that are not in this business don't realize that a fighter spends a lot of time away from his family. But a fighter only has one career. We have 6, 7 careers. Look at Derek right now. How many fighters does he have? He's got 6 or 7 decent fighters, good fighters. So that means he's got 7 careers, not just one. He's got 7 careers he's got to juggle and be away. So when he gets through with one fight, he's got 2 or 3 fights coming up. So where's the time for family? Where's the time for personal life? And I think a lot of those things are missed by a lot of coaches that, of course, we love what we're doing, but still, we're missing out on a lot of things that we may regret later.